Our guy, Matt Gaetz, is weighing in on the crime epidemic. They have people come in and testify. These are Democrats that are soft on crime. And these are the victims of normal people in their cities suffering. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TeNapel. This is the Doug TeNapel channel. I hope you've subscribed and rung the bell so you can hear more of Matt Gaetz.
You're seeing more and more crimes not really being counted as crimes. And you're seeing more and more criminals just being let out and not really deemed part of the criminal justice system for any meaningful period of time.
This is part of how the Democrats have jacked up all the statistics on crime to artificially lower them under Biden-Harris. Crimes are getting reduced down to petty crimes. That includes what Alvin Bragg did, where they would take felonies and bring them down to misdemeanor. You know, that's why it was so funny that he took one of Trump's misdemeanors and tried to elevate it up to a felony. At the start of Biden's win, they came in, Alvin Bragg flat out said they're not going to prosecute shoplifting if it's under, like they find out how much it's worth, like under $1,000. Like basically a criminal knows you go in and take under $1,000 of stuff, you can just take as much as you want.
And so I want you to bring like the average American who's heard the presentation, oh, that crime rates are down, we're safer now under these policies that don't really punish people for things like theft. Like, what does that actually mean on the streets of America? What would you say to an American that encountered that information, but it didn't jive with how they felt?
What I would equate it to is we see it every day in our city, where we sit right now. It's mind-boggling on how we talk about crime. For us, again, somebody that has been in Minnesota since 2012, the 5 years we had one burglary. Now we've had 12, 13. Every time I get a thing from our district attorney, it says we've reduced the charges to under $1,000.
Crimes are up across the United States. In fact, they're through the roof, but it's the reporting that has gone down. They're not allowed to report it, or the reports are so flaccid, they can't put details in, they can't put in skin color. Oftentimes they can't put in sex to show what kind of perpetrator it is, that you can't even track the statistics. They're no good. They're not useful because they're not trying to report what's actually happening. They're trying to look good on paper, which is what this episode in Exile is about. Who is doing what's right between Camala Harris and Trump versus who just looks good on paper?
Even though it may have cost me $20,000 to repair the building, a safe, they rolled down 3 flights of stairs, ripped out walls, ripped out staircases. We reduced it down to under $1,000. And the person is back on the streets and he robs us again. And we reduce it down, and he robs us again, and we reduce it down.
That's real life recidivism, repeat offender.
That name is called recidivism.
Repeat offender.
These people have learned the system is it's okay to commit petty crimes. That's how you create more crime. Democrats create more crime and then just redefine it.
Mr. Ingram, Vice President Harris filled out a questionnaire for the ACLU when she was running for president back in 2019, and she advocated for the position of decriminalizing fentanyl, making it where that wasn't something where people would interface with the criminal justice system but would have a different path. Do you think that would make your streets safer?
I don't believe that will make our streets safer. People, you must be held accountable for your actions.
Decriminalizing that drug is like decriminalizing poison. We've heard Carrie Lake talk about this on the southern border. You can't do it. This is also where the libertarians and the far left, once again, are in complete agreement on legalizing that stuff, which I'm totally opposed to.
Words don't really matter. Actions matter. We can all say, I can sit here, say whatever I want to say. Any of us can say. Actions are what matter. What is happening every single day is what matters, and that's really what we need is common sense to take over. If you've been arrested 50 times in 3 years, you shouldn't be out to do it again.
And that's the theme of this show. Actions matter. Did you hear what he said? Words do not matter. Actions matter. This goes back to the debate where Kamala Harris and ABC News were using words. And Trump was talking about actions, what he's done, what he will do. Let's let Matt Gaetz here wrap it up in this final clip.
Why do people, I've never been a prosecutor, but why would you want to become a prosecutor to then not prosecute the criminals?
And that's what Alvin Bragg is, a prosecutor that did not prosecute criminals. You know who else was one? Camala Harris, a prosecutor who basically let her buddies go and only prosecuted political opponents, because that's why Democrats want to control the prosecutions. They have mercy on their people and they bring the hammer down on their political opponents, because that's a two-tiered justice system. I'm Doug in Exile.